This is episode 146 of Southern Gospel Now. I'm Greg Goodman with your weekly look at what's going on in Southern Gospel music. Southern Gospel Now is made possible by Daywind.com, where you'll find Southern Gospel CDs and soundtracks. Matthew and Presley Gooch of Carenpeck and New River recently taped a segment with the 700 Club. Matthew talks about God turning their lives around after the death of their daughter Isabel.
There's a word that says shalom, which is a greeting, but salom is a word in Hebrew that means God makes things as if they never happened. I sit here today with two children. I have a healthy baby boy that's 2 months old and my girl Isla who just turned 2. It really does feel that God does miracles.
That segment with Matthew and Presley Gooch will debut on the 700 Club March 13th. Joseph and Lindsay Habedank were recently interviewed on Love to Tell the Story podcast, hosted by Dave Clark and Dusty Wells. Lindsay says Joseph let her know about his addiction 3 weeks before they were married.
We got married, and the first few months were tough because I was learning. I was what they call a dry drunk, even though I wasn't an alcoholic. A dry drunk means somebody who's not drinking but wants to be. So you're just mad that you can't drink. And it was kind of that for me. I was mad that I couldn't use my medicine anymore, and eventually I started using again, and
at that point I was seeing him 18 hours a week, so maximum.
Because I was on the road.
And when you're seeing somebody for 18 hours a week, you're just wanting to make the most of it, date nights and dinner and so it was just I would come home from work, we'd have dinner, and for 3 days, that was all I saw him. Just after I finished my job. And,
I feel like we kind of went through the motions for 3 years. Just going through the motions of learning how to be married to an addict for her, and then me learning how to be married as an addict. It was kind of sweet in some ways because it was the beginning of our marriage, and also looking back, very chaotic. And especially for her, I think I was in my own little world because I was under the influence so much.
Joseph Habedank's new project, Autobiography, releases April 19th. The Kingsman Quartet recently put out their new project, Unstoppable God. Alan Kendall tells us about it.
Brandon Reese, of course, is very heavily involved with the production, as am I, along with our main producer, the guy that's been behind us for so many years, Jeff Collins. Got some amazing brand new songs on this album, some of which were even penned by Diane Wilkinson, some of her last writings. Even have one that's co-written by Diane and Aaron Wilber that I am so excited about. That's going to feature Radine Reese. Got fast songs, got traditional songs, got some modern sounding songs. I just can't wait for you to hear this new record.
Jonathan Wilburn's new project is Songs from the Front Pew. Jonathan says he only sat on the front pew at church when he was in trouble.
Driving down the road the other day, and I thought about going back to my childhood at North Carthage Missionary Baptist Church in Carthage, Tennessee. My dad led the singing, and my mom, she sat on about the second or third row. Now, Dad, he was right on the front row. I would sit with my mom. Sometimes I would get antsy or fidgety, and my mom, she would look over, she'd go, "One more time, and you're going to have to go sit with your daddy." And I remember one time, my goodness, my mom sent me to sit with my dad on the front pew. I was begging the Lord for mercy because when my dad, he would recognize I was sitting there, he would lean over, he'd go, "Now, son, why did your mother send you up here?" And I would go, "I don't know, Dad." And he said, "Well, we'll find out when we get home."
Mylon Hayes talks about his family carrying the glorious gospel.
We are so blessed as the Mylon Hayes family to have this platform of gospel music to share the glorious gospel. God has blessed us with that, and He has opened so many doors for our family. We've probably traveled 40 states over the last decade and gone to a couple of different countries, most recently to Sydney, Australia, all halfway around the world to share the glorious gospel, and had a wonderful time over there. But you know what? You don't even have to have a platform like gospel music to share your faith. We're all commissioned as believers to share our faith and to share the love of Jesus Christ.
The current hit from Brian Free and Assurance is Meet Me at the Cross. Brian talks about a lyric that mentions those with secrets.
Calling all those with secrets is another line in that song. And there are things that we sometimes hold back and hold in when God knows about them. And we need to confess those things. We ask for forgiveness for the sins in our lives. There should be no secrets between us and God in our communication. whatsoever. And that includes people with scars who have gone through so much, who have been hurt, have been done wrong, and tend to harbor those feelings. And again, as Christians, we can't do that because, as the song says, everyone is welcome. Christ died for all.
The current hit from the Inspirations is Come to the Well. Isaac Moore gives us a little insight into the song.
This is a song that was written by Ronnie Hinson, who we all know is one of the greatest gospel songwriters of all time. This is just another one of his classic efforts. It's just a wonderful song. Of course, it talks about the lady who came to the well and met Jesus there looking for some water. He gave her so much more than what she ever came looking for.
Chosen Road will get to perform for Tennessee lawmakers later this month. Jonathan Buckner here with the details.
On March the 14th, that's going to be an exciting day. We actually get to sing a couple songs on the floor of the Tennessee State Senate as they honor Chosen Road for 15 years of gospel music. So when we started 15 years ago, we never dreamed that one day we would be singing songs on the floor of the Tennessee State Senate. But we serve an incredible God, and we are just honored that after 15 years that he is still using guys like us.
Deborah Perry of Deborah Perry and Jaden's Call tells us how the group got their name.
We struggled in the beginning with our group's name. And one day I was standing in my bathroom and I was praying that the Lord would help us find a name for this group. And the Lord just kind of spoke in my spirit and he said, what is your passion other than me? And it was just like a little light bulb. And I quickly knew why the Lord was asking me that question. Little Jaden was born on August the 27th, 2006, with a condition called hydranencephaly. We were told he probably would not survive birth, but he did. We were told that he would probably die within a few months. And Jaden is now 17 years old, and he is profoundly disabled, but he is the love of our lives.
Time for a look at the top Southern Gospel songs of the week from the Power 50 chart.
Number 5.
When They Call My Name, Mark Trammell Quartet.
When they call my name. Number 4.
Meet Me at the Cross, Brian Free and Assurance.
Meet me at the cross. Number 3.
Help Is on the Way, Gold City.
For help is on the way. Number 2.
Privilege of Prayer, The Wisnets.
Praise God for the privilege of prayer. Number 1.
Stand in the Storm, Booth Brothers.
I'd rather stand in the storm with Jesus.
Congratulations to the Booth Brothers for hanging on to #1 honors for 3 weeks in a row. That's our report for this week. If you missed episodes of Southern Gospel Now, you can access all 146 episodes wherever you find podcasts or at southerngospelnow.com. Don't forget about prize packs that you can register for at southerngospelprizes.com, including the Easter prize pack. Details at southerngospelprizes.com. I'm Greg Goodman. Thanks for tuning in. Love your neighbor. And I'll see you next week with another edition of Southern Gospel Now.